Che di? Hello.
Oh, Alfredo.
Ciao Carlos.
Oh,
How are you?
nice to see you.
Nice to see you. It's a long time I don't see you. You look great.
Yes, you too. You seem like...
Yeah, we are in holiday.
Yes, yes. You have the look of someone who is close in theater. I don't know why.
Well, I don't, maybe the color of the face. Actually, I go to the rooftop every day, and I'm quite, look my color. I have sun in my skin. No, wait a moment. I introduce you the others, and I try to. She's Matilde.
Let's just wait a couple of minutes so that people are now joining in. Okay?
Is that your flat or what? Is that your house?
Yes, this is my house. Yes, I'm confinato, ma confinato a casa, non al teatro.
Wow. So we can speak in Italian. I remember you speak a very good Italian.
Yes,
but not the others.
In this, I can more or less let you know that although I'm organizing this meeting in the context of visual results, most of the people here will be students from the University of Cleveland, studying artistic studies. Okay.
All right.
And I think it's important for people to know what you are doing. Because it's really very, very, well, it's unique. Okay?
It's quite weird, actually, yes. I think it's unique. I think we are in the, come si dice Guinness dei primati?
Guinness World Record.
We are in the Guinness for Records.
Se vuoi io ho il link.
I'm going to, probably I just pass the link to another laptop, which is better than this.
We are also waiting for Pier Lorenzo, right?
No, he's here, he's here.
I'm here, this hand.
Lorenzo is here.
So Pier Lorenzo is with you? We are waiting for
Daniele.
Daniele also.
But he's always late, so we can begin. Because usually he's late. I mean, Daniele, so we can begin without him. At the beginning, probably we'll catch during the run.
Ciao Alfredo.
No, is it you? My beautiful friend. Hello.
How are you?
Ciao Anna, so good to see you.
Wow, wonderful backdrop you have.
Talking about me?
No, the theater.
Ah, sorry. Sapiri, Pier, Lore, Pisa. Zoom link for Sunday. You should. Inviato.
Okay.
Did you cut your hair?
Do you think, Alfredo, shall we wait for
Daniele?
Danielle?
I'm going to text him
Danielle
I'm going to text him now to understand.
Ok.
Ma non ci sei, ce ne abbiamo uno per tutti, Sal, va bene? Tu sei dentro? Okay, Carlos, I'm going to leave here and I go to another laptop.
Oh, you want to do the
Se è meglio.
Yeah, still us. Forza Roma, forza lupi.
Avvicinati così Mattia.
Però voi potete stare più vicini. Ah no, fermatevi.
No, ma io sono più dentro di più.
So Daniele is not answering, trying to call him now.
Okay, so I think we can start.
Yes, we start. We don't wait for the latest.
You are not late because you are confined to the theater, okay?
Yeah.
But you know that people outside, they have lots of things they can do, okay? They can go for a walk, so it's natural that they get late, okay? So, let me more or less introduce the situation to our other Portuguese guests. So, we are now in Napoli, in the south of Italy, at the Teatro Bellini, where 2 months ago, a group of artists, actors, actresses, also a director, a theater director and dramaturg, decided to get inside the theater and to stay there until the theater opened, okay? And when they accepted this challenge for a project that seems to be at the same time a performance in itself, I mean the performance of being closed in the theater, working while the theater is closed, it's also a work in progress for a show that will be, I think, the first show to be presented to the audience when the theater opens. So, we have with us in Teatro Bellini, Pier Lorenzo Pizzeno, director and dramaturg, and the actors Matilde Vigna, Federica Cavuba Toscano and Alfredo Angelici. With Alfredo, I have a past relation. We did some European projects together in several European countries. So that's was my main connection when I heard about the project. I tell you that in the beginning, when I heard about the project, I thought Alfredo was doing something weird, okay, alone at his house. But then he kept on posting strange things. That's when I realized that he was not going crazy. He was doing something serious.
Yeah.
So
because at the beginning, Carlos, I interrupt you because probably I was posting just a cold fish, a red fish in a bowl video, something like so. Because the logo of this thing called Zona Rossa Bellini, it's a red fish. We live in our changing room, and in every changing room, in each one, there is a fish. Everybody has his own fish. So in the video I was posting at the beginning, you saw me speaking with my fish, but it's the main, I mean, it's a symbol, a fish in a bowl, transparent, because we are live streaming forever and ever. And even now, we are live streaming on YouTube and on our channel, Facebook and Instagram and stuff. So, it's our...
Can you tell us, although the director, Daniel, is not still here, how did it begin, the project? Do you know why the Teatro Bellini decided to make this call to invite the actors? Was it related with the pandemic situation? Why? Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know how it works in Portugal, but here, of course, the theater are closed since 1 year so far, and there are a lot of things the theater are trying to do to survive, to get alive, to get connection, to keep connection with the audience, and the most clever idea, and I am ironical when I say it, is streaming, theater in streaming. And so for me and for the author of the Zona Rossa Bellini, streaming theater is something like bidimensional theater, doesn't work. So what we just try to do is something surely new, innovative, and the intent is to show to the audience the entire process of creation for the tabula rasa, white page. So that's why we have a dramaturg, and to the creation of a proper show. So people in live stream, we have 2 stages in which we work. The big one, which is this, and the off one, a small one, which is 200 seats theater. And we used to work in both of them. And in each of the stage, there are cameras. In live streaming, 8 hours per day. And so the people from home can, see the entire process, the failures of the actors, of the dramaturg, the attempt, everything. So that was the main objective, try to show to the audience in order to get the audience closer to our work, which is quite abstract. Oh, you are an artist. What do you do? We don't know. That's what we do. We work in this way, and that's the process of creation of a show. Almost, this is...
Tell me something. When in the beginning, I remember I was explaining Zona Rossa to a friend of mine, and I did my best explaining, and in the end of the explanation, he asked me, "Oh, I see, it's a reality show."
Yes.
And I said, "No," and he said, "Why not?" Okay, so can you explain us
It's tricky.
why what you are doing?
Because the
not
cameras are
reality
only on the stage. The cameras just portray us doing the rehearsals for the show / shows we're going to do for the people. The cameras just capture the work and not our daily lives. We don't have cameras in our changing rooms where we sleep. We don't have cameras at breakfast, at lunch, but we do have them at dinner, so like people can check that we're still here, that we don't go home at night. So that's the reality thing. We are really living here, but then it's mainly on the creative process. That's what the author of Zona Rossa wanted to convey, that there is a process behind the show. So it's not just that the politics and the politician can decide just to reopen theater like that, because there is a project behind the show. There is a lot of work, a lot of people involved, also the technicians, the light designer, the sound designer, the costumes, and all the stuff. There's plenty of things that people don't know, and so we wanted to show them.
And then there is the political goal as well, which is the difference between a television reality show and us. I mean, the political goal is we stay here till the theater don't open, as Matilda was saying. And it's, let's call it a creative protest, something like, but it's not just hedonistic need of making us seen by the others. But anyway, it helped these tricky things that you underline very cleverly, as you are, it helped us. It did, because all the newspapers captured by this idea of reality then came here and studied the case and understood that it's what is inside the theme of what is the content, which is different artistical, dramaturgical, and political more than relation between gossip things around people.
But for instance, when you are working, rehearsing, don't you feel that sometimes you might be making a double acting, in the sense that you are doing what you usually do in the rehearsal room, okay, trying to prepare a show, but at the same time you are aware that people are watching. Do you in these weeks do you manage to forget that you are acting twice and you forget the camera? Or imagine that, for instance, imagine a situation that not in a situation like this, you'd be angry with your fellow actor and you'd say, I don't know, "Mamma fa un culo porque..." But in this situation, you know that people are watching, and you are in the Teatro Berlin, and this is important to give a good image of arts workers, and perhaps you don't say that. How do you manage that situation?
I think this was mostly true during the first weeks, And but then it faded away a little bit, and I studied this process also doing some things without camera and with camera, and I found out that it actually helps the actors because they feel as if they have an audience all the time, so it actually gives them motivation in the end. And the things you were saying about cursing at each other and fighting, also it's true. And we don't fight so much because we have this...
we are polite.
Yes, we're very polite. So, and this is partly because of... it's because we are nice people and also because of the streaming all the time.
But even because at the end of the day, as we know very well, we cannot run away from each other. So it's better for us to be kind and gentle with the other, because you know, when you create a group, the dynamic, it's very fragile and delicate. So at dinner, if I have something, what I have learned is that what happened on the stage, I don't carry it at the table desk at dinner. You know what I mean? I mean, because then I am obliged to see these couple of eyes every day since 70 days, you know. So what for? It's not, let's pass me the term, clever to fight.
Tell me, when you accepted the invitation, there was no deadline. I mean, no date to get out of the theater. So it could have passed for a couple of weeks. 2 months is now, perhaps 1 year. Okay, I don't want to scare you, but did you never consider? I mean, you are working, okay, but on a show. But usually, when people are working on a show, they have 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 10 weeks. They know how to manage the working process to an aim, to a date in which they are going to present the performance. You don't know when you will present the show. So how come do you write, devise, rehearse without knowing when you are going to present? Are you already focusing on a show, or you are just still experiencing?
We are on our third show.
Later on, you do something.
I mean, actually, it's very interesting because it's. I mean, because you're totally free of waste all the time in the world for research and for trying out things, and this is very interesting. Also, after a while, like at the 3rd week, I think we felt the urge to put some kind of limit to ourselves. So we started working on something like it started like a proper production. So like at the end of the month, it was over actually, the first one.
So we gave ourselves limits.
So yeah, so we set ourselves some kind of limits to. Yeah, because the theaters aren't gonna open soon, maybe at the end of this month. But I mean, we still don't have a deadline, and we will never have a precise deadline. So we kind of made it up, some kind of inside deadlines for ourselves.
But in the meanwhile, we lose soldiers. We were 6 at the beginning.
Okay.
Plus all the office people working at the offices, and but now because I don't know how it works in Portugal. We work we challenge against the COVID with the colors: orange, red, or yellow. It means that yellow, good, you can go out. Orange, red, you stay home. So by now we are orange. Our region, Campania, is orange, and we had. Some problem here, so people cannot come to work here, even the offices cannot. So at the beginning we were 6 of us, young and nice and strong, and then after a while one of us gave up because it's too much to live without sunlight and things like this. After 60 days, the second one, which was the second director, because he's a director, there was another director, which was her, and she gave up because she said, I did my show, because we closed one complete show with everything perfectly ready to go on stage. So she said, I delivered my show, I did my agreement, I accomplished the mission, so for me, I go. And we are the last stupid heroes staying here and building another show now, which is just done like this, with the complicity of people who knows each other. Now we know each other very well, of course. He's a very prolific and fast writer, so he just writes and we go on stage, he writes and we go on stage, so we have almost another show done, and we don't see the end of this, but of course it has to end, because we had, I don't know if you heard, in Italy we had a lot of, not strikes, not clashes, but manifestation from culture, so it's the apocalypse. I mean, nobody will survive.
Imagine that perhaps in the end there can be only one of you alone.
We thought about this, but probably we prefer best to be a group, even in the exit, even because for communications matters. I mean, it's stronger to go out with a show, 2 shows or 3 or whatever, but as a group, then, like McDowell in the movie, that will last just one, failing, come si chiama? Ne rimarrà soltanto uno.
And is there a relation between the performance, the performance itself that you are carrying on during these weeks, and the content of the show you are preparing, or there is no relation? Or
Yes, but it's inevitable in the end. Like we started to, as Lorenzo said, the first weeks were just research and also to get to know each other, but also like to experiment different ways of doing our work. But then this show, the one that we finalized, the one that is ready to go on stage with the public, that show is about our seclusion here, our own quarantine, and so the show is basically about ourselves, but given that all Italy has been confined for a whole 3 months last spring, this is a show that talks about everyone of us. And we had the proof of that because we did a couple of rehearsals with the people from the office when there still was someone coming to work here, and they were very moved by it. Like it really meant something, and for us it was like super good to see people to perform in front of someone and to see that the story we had to tell, even if it was really a personal story, it was so much about what the life we led here, events that happened here, and it was so personal but yet so universal, and that was and that was for me it was very good, because I was so worried, like, are we always and only going to talk about ourselves? Isn't it belittling the experience? But it was not, and it was very. It is, but the show we're preparing now,
it's dark.
Still, it's about ourselves. Well, not the situation, because it's more metaphorical, and then we have the author here. I cannot say much, but that I don't know. Maybe it's always like that you talk about yourself to talk about the whole world. But that's it. There is a connection, and it's a very close one.
But let's say that the second, we are really stealing the word to the author, but the second show, it's about the darkness and the feelings, the dark feelings that came up naturally from this lockdown in theater. Really, it's like, it's a color that's coming out from stage, from the text. Però di te.
Yeah, it's about all the things that you see from the window, all the terrible things.
It's funny because although I've never seen the show you are preparing, but what you are doing at the same time is an act of resistance against the situation we are all living as a society. At the same time, an act of recognition, of acknowledging how the difficult situation in which we all are. And it's funny because in the last couple of months in Portugal, culture, and especially the performing arts, is in a very difficult situation because, especially in the performing arts, we depend on being with other people in the same place. And it's very common to hear people. I remember the other day I was in a school meeting with parents because my youngest daughter studies music in an artistic school. And there was a mother saying that in this situation, she understood that she shouldn't support the desire of her son to study music later on because things are very difficult for artists. And here in this conversation, we have people, very young people, they are 18, 19, 20, that decided, some of them during the pandemic, okay, some of them last year, they decided to study artistic studies, okay? And now they are watching you at the same time resisting, okay, but at the same time closed in a theater, okay, without sunlight and saying that you are hoping for the best, okay? So what can you say to someone who is 18 years old and decided during the pandemic that arts should be the way? What would you say to them? Give up?
No, that is his or her. The heroes, they are heroes. I mean, it's needed. It's the only way left to feel alive. I mean, for me, I'm trying, of course, I'm provoking a little bit, but it's the only way to, it's the only job lasts in which you can feel emotions, create, work with fantasy, and every job is difficult to do right now. I mean, the pandemic has, cancelled a lot of sureness. How do you say? People is not sure anymore about what he's doing. The only job you are sure is if you work with data, or if you deliver pizza. This is the two things last. So if the choice is to be a little bit brave and courageous, try to keep going the fuel, the fire of something. I'm a little bit idealistic now, but it's, I think they need these guys are watching us now, because it is. I mean, yes, it's difficult, but everything is difficult. At least I have fun. No, I cannot hear you anymore, Carlos.
Yes, I was...
silent, okay.
Let me now just give, we don't want to take much of your time, so let me just give an opportunity for someone else to put a question. I know Anna told me she wanted to ask something, and if any, se mais algum de vocês que também quer fazer alguma pergunta, estejam à vontade em português, ou se quiser podem fazer em inglês, ou se quiserem fazer em português, perguntam-me a mim e eu ajudo mais ou menos a traduzir, ok? Estejam à vontade. Anna.
Yeah, can I go ahead then, please? Well, I had two questions actually, so I'll try to make them short. The first one is about what is your feeling of the outside feeling towards what you are doing? How, I mean, not counting us, your colleagues or your friends and your families, but what is the outside perception of what you are doing? Do you have a feeling about this, and have people been, criticizing you or finding it great, or did they start in the beginning to pay a lot of attention because it was something different, and now they don't care and they think you're just silly for staying there after 2 months. So what is that exterior perception and how it has evolved during these 2 months? And then a second question, I am very curious to know, as performers, also of course as writers, but mainly as performers, if you feel that the reclusion is sometimes affects what you are doing on stage. I don't mean about the sort of things that you are talking about in the scenes and the script that you are writing, but as your own emotional disposition to perform, because when we are in a rehearsing process for like 2 months or 3 months, we get to go home at the end of the day and be with other people and be distant from the theater. So we sort of clear our mind, and then when we go back to meet our colleagues, we are a little bit refreshed. So I was wondering if staying inside the theater and having to deal with each other all day long, even if you don't talk about what happened on stage and you try to change the conversation, on the following day when you go on stage to do the same scene or to evolve on a scene, do you feel that you have become more something, more vulnerable to each other, more generous with your acting, or exactly the opposite, a little bit more stressed, more anxious? How have you been dealing with that?
I'll answer the second question first, because to me it's very clear that although sometimes it's overwhelming, because like it's like my emotional level is always super high. It's like my doors are always very open, because now I know these people and I know these people very well. So on stage, like Alfredo was saying before, we are immediately ready. We understand each other, like our perception of the space first, because we live here. We are very at ease in this space. We are very at ease with each other. So everything is immediate. There are no obstacles between us, and then there's nothing much that happens on stage that has to be forgotten, nothing bad or nothing. I mean, we don't fight much, as Lorenzo was saying. But this, I don't know how to say it, emotional level I said before, and I think maybe my colleagues can add up on it, but it is. You are, it's a different, I don't know how to say, it's another stage. It's another stage. And then I'm quite scared of the outside when we go out. And then, you know, normal productions where I go home and then and I meet other people, and then the next day I have other colleagues. Here it's everything is flowing, and that is also the performance Carlo was saying before, because beside shows there is an actual performance going on 24/7. So we take from that a lot. And as regards how the outside world is reacting to this thing, we had many people watching the rehearsals on streaming in the first weeks, in the first month, I would say, and also a lot of newspapers and televisions coming also, but now this has been a bit fading. But still, I don't have much contact with the outside world besides my family, friends, and colleagues, so I wouldn't really know much about that. But I think the world kind of knows about us, and I think they think good about this thing. I mean, they're kind of heroes. I mean, my friends who are not colleagues, they say they really think highly of this project, like I'm some kind of hero, I'm going to be the best actress when I come out, and I say, well, it's not much like this, we're just like poor actors strutting and fretting our hours upon the stage. But then, I don't know, you want to add
I just want to add 2 words. On the second question, after a while, an actor loses the performance need. No need to perform. You know, he's the director, but he cannot protest me. So I can be whatever I am. So I don't need to demonstrate anything. So that's a freedom you don't have in the field. Usually you don't have this. You have to function, you know. So it's a privilege. Second, the first question, everybody knows about us, the actor, the performance field, somebody loves us, some other is in competition with what we're doing because of the visibility we're having. As usual, it's not a unified sector. I mean, the actor, I don't know in Portugal, but here in Italy it works like this. People, I mean, everyday people, life, normal people, not actors, and they love us. A politician, they don't give a shit. I mean, yes, they know, but they pretend we don't live. We're not living here. That's it. Lorenzo.
It's funny because what you are doing, although you are becoming invisible in one sense, because you are closed in the theater and no one can see you, at the same time, you are making everybody visible. So nobody sees you, but thanks to your work, people are seeing much more the situation in the arts field, okay? I remember before coming here, I explained to a friend of mine what I was going to do to visit you, and he looked to me and he said, "Yay, they are doing the real thing, okay? You are just
mingling around
the situation. They are the heroes, okay?" And he didn't know you, but he was like, "Hey, this is the real thing, okay?"
But you know something, this is a key word. I mean, not to be heroes, but in this moment of pandemic thing, I was feeling, before coming here inside, locking myself down here, I was feeling, what can I do? Because what can I do for my friends, actors, colleagues, for the job I do? And there were no answer, because what could I do apart from survive on my sofa reading and trying to keep creative, you know, this. And for me, and even for them, I guess, this, it has been, and it is still a medium to commit, to fight, to tell this story in a way we would like the story to be told.
I also think we've been very lucky to have been given this chance of being here, because we've been called by the author of the project who ran a theater. So I think that, as Alfredo was saying, that before coming here, he was lying on his couch trying to keep creative. So when you said heroes, I kind of thought that the real heroes also too, like coming back to, if someone starts this career at 18 years old in a pandemic situation worldwide, perhaps the real heroes are those that, like, after 1 year of not working, of not having the chance to perform on stage, even if it's just rehearsals or even if you're locked in a theater, if you don't have this chance and you keep on surviving somehow to keep keeping your soul alive, and then you will come out of this creatively alive, that would be an act, so a real act of resistance. Because I know there are a lot of colleagues who are out of job for 1 year now, and that is a lot. That is, it's awful, and who are not delivering pizzas, or who didn't change the course of their lives for this situation. So I just wanted to say that I think we're really lucky to be locked here. It's a paradox, but it's true.
It's funny because in our company, a couple of weeks ago, we had a season at the National Theatre in Porto, and it was cancelled. It was a show with an interesting dimension, and it was a National Theatre. The show was cancelled. Then we were doing it in streaming, but then the streaming was cancelled too. And then we said, what can we do? Okay, because that was the feeling that there's nothing we can do. We can't even do it on the fucking streaming, okay? And then we decided, in the first moment, we decided to put our production resources, I mean our van, our production coordinator, our executive producer, we put them to work with not the city council, but the council from our neighborhoods, helping to deliver food to people that need it, okay? Because we had resources, we had to do something, okay? And then after doing that, we thought, okay, we are using the economical resources, but what can we do in an artistic way? And so now we are doing a telephone show, okay? It's a show for one spectator at a time, okay? You make a reservation, you choose a date and a timetable, you pay a small amount of money, 4 euros. That money goes to help artists that are in need of help. And then you have a conversation. It's based on a very small short story from Franz Kafka about an artist. It's called The Hunger Artist, okay? And it's about an artist that was very famous and everybody wanted to go to his shows. And at a certain point, people, they dislike the show and he gets to be all alone, okay? And it's a sort of a metaphor for performing arts in this moment, because 1 year ago, everybody was going to see us, to be with us, and now nobody can come, okay? And it was also our answer to this situation, in the sense that we are doing for one person at a time. It's so small, so small, okay? But it's the only thing we can do, okay? We did it at home, nobody has to come to meet us, and it happens. And I think what's perhaps the important message to all the people here studying arts is that what Alfredo said before, what can we do? So in any situation, people working in the arts fields, they always make this question, what can we do? And they find solutions. They find new ways of doing things. And it's funny because people here, with me, they study theater history, especially the 20th century theater in Europe and the United States. And when we find shifts from an artist to another artist, from a movement to another movement, those shifts happen because artists ask, what should we do now? What's the purpose for what we are doing? Okay, and that question that took these 4 people here and the 2 others that gave up in the meanwhile to Teatro Bellini was more or less this question: what can we do in a city where theaters are closed? And the answer was, we can get closed inside the theater and let's see what happens.
Yeah, that's true. You know, we have a lot of examples here in Italy too of creativity about people. We had something like you are doing with telephone shows, but with fairy tales for children. I mean, actors for children just giving fairy tales because they couldn't go out, so they need, you know, some entertainment. But there is a thing that probably all these things we are trying to do, it's very important for the artists, so for these guys who are going to be actors and actresses. But there is something that didn't happen, at least in Italy, that we doubt on ourselves, but the entire acting fields didn't doubt what the field. How can we transform the system? That was an opportunity that we have missed. Absolutely. I mean, not we as single actors or directors, but I mean, on the big level, we could have thought about a change, because something has to change in this Italian way, probably European way of producing theater, which is a little bit less in contact with the people, to the people, apart from visual footage that I know very well your work you're doing in the town. So apart from that kind of expertise you have, but usually the theater, so-called theater, is losing contact with people. That's what we have to try to focus on.
it's funny because people studying with me in artistic studies, although much people are also in the arts field as artists or creators, much of the people studying here, they will be working in mediation situations, making the connections between audiences and artwork. So what Alfredo is saying is really important for you to understand the importance of what you are studying, because in the context that you are making with the arts field, with people like the people working on Zona Rossa, you will have a better chance to understand the drive and the inputs of creation, of artistic creation, and that will enable you to make a better relation between art and between the audiences. So these kind of meetings are especially important because of that, because they will give you an advantage on the work you might do later on. And any more question? Mais alguma pergunta? Alguém, se quiserem, não se acanhem? Nenhuma questão? So,
Professor, eu tenho uma questão.
sim, força, força.
Eu não sei se eu posso falar, mas bem, não é uma questão, não é bem uma questão, é mais uma colocação, né? Eu queria dizer para vocês que no começo da pandemia, uma das coisas que salvou minha vida, mesmo assim, foi pesquisar sobre existencialismo. E a partir da filmografia do Tarkovsky, eu me reapaixonei assim por essas questões da gente pesquisar o nosso interior. E eu tenho a impressão que, pelo que vocês estão contando sobre a peça que estão a fazer, aliás, que já foi feita, mas que estão reinventando, é exatamente isso. São questões cruciais para a nossa vida, porque nesse momento a gente de fato precisa entender o que está dentro da gente, assim. E eu achei muito massa o que vocês estão fazendo. Era isso só.
Okay, I will translate. Victoria, she's one of my students. She's from Brazil. In a general way, in artistic studies in Coimbra, there is a very strong presence from students from Brazil that come to Portugal to study in Coimbra. And she was, to cut it more or less short, she was saying that what you are doing is really important, and that what you are doing and the search of meaning in this situation is something that can save lives. I mean, not only your life, but also the lives of people that hear about what you are doing. And thanks to your work and to your option and to your, let's say, to your sacrifice, okay? It's almost like a tragedy in the sense that your sacrifice will enable us to save ourselves, okay? But in the sense that what you are doing might save not only you, to give a meaning, as you say, to what you are doing, but might also save the life of other people that find in what you are doing an important example. Okay, so she was saying thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you from Brazil.
Thank you very much from
Thank you.
Victoria. But watch that in the tragedy, the sacrifice, the protagonist die at the end. We don't want to die. It's
So
a
we
sacrifice
don't
until.
so close, okay? But that would make you a success, okay?
Yes, I will become famous.
That would be for sure a success for the Teatro Bellini, okay?
Yes.
In the end, everybody died, okay? So just to finish explaining the situation, so usually in this subject, I take the students a couple of times, 3 times, to see a show. Now it's impossible. So in February, I'm taking them to see your show, and this is already your show, okay, a part of your show. And next month, I will take them to see a performance, a live performance by Laurie Anderson. So I think they are having an excellent opportunities to understand what the most important things being done in performing arts fields right now. Okay.
Okay.
Alfredo, tutti gli altri.
I wanted to ask,
Ah,
does the
another
new
question?
if the new show already has a name?
We can ask the author.
So,
The author.
I have yet to decide, but
Between.
I like Senet, which is an Egyptian board game where two people fight, and when someone loses, he loses his soul. Maybe. Or maybe tomorrow it will be Farmhouse. I don't know. I will keep you updated.
Minecraft. Okay.
Thank you.
Perhaps if something, if there is more funding for colleges in Portugal, perhaps in a couple of months I can ask for funding, for support from the University of Coimbra to take everybody here to Napoli to see your show. That would be great.
Take us there.
Take
us there.
In fact, take us there.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you very much for your presence. It was really a pleasure to be with you here. All the best for you, and we will keep a close watch in what you are doing. And if you need some help from Portugal, just give us a call.
Yeah,
okay?
break a leg, everybody. Thank you very much,
you.
Carlos, Anna, and all the guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Bye bye.
Grazie.
Break a leg.
Grazie.
Ciao.
Buon lavoro.
Grazie.
Forza Roma.
Molto bene.
Che ballavano con le sedie a rotelle con tutte le